Yeah.
Something that Coach Spolstra was talking about after the last game was how there's so many different triggers and options in your offense that he.
Say one more time, sorry.
Something that Spolstra was talking about after last game was all the different triggers and options in your offense that led to some breakdowns on their part late in the game, like the Ben dunk and the JJ jump shot. Can you kind of speak to the design that you put into the offense and what type of pressure the hope is to put on the opposition?
I mean, I give our guys credit. Those are sort of crunch time plays that we don't use a lot throughout the game. We drag them out, at times when we need them. There's a handful of plays that we go to in those situations. In general, trying to move people around, especially in the playoffs, interests me. Anything that's static does not. Our team is I think most capable in a movement type of game. And I just feel like, the style that we've chosen to play offensively is a style I think you have to play for us in the playoffs. You're not going to pivot out of it and all of a sudden became a static, slow team. I like movement. We like trying to show different looks, and those two plays that you're speaking about were, I give our guys credit. They did a good job of executing them.
Brett, you talked about what to expect heading into the last game. I mean, are you expecting much of the same this one?
What would we all think? Just of course, and I mean it's a fair question. And you think about their last memory. Their last memory here was winning, and they did it with a certain style, and they tried to continue to do it in games 3 and 4. And we get it. Once again, you don't have to be a wise man to know what is about to happen, what style of play they're going to try to play, especially when they're going to go home if they're not able to find a win. And we understand that's the same messaging around every locker room in the NBA in the playoffs. I'm no different.
Right, you talked about all the new things that have come with your team, getting into the playoffs and playing that series. Is closing out a series one of those new things that they're going to have to experience firsthand?
Yes. I mean, I'm sure I'm biased, but I feel as I look at the playoffs and I look at our team that we have as much room for growth as anybody. I think we have more room for growth. And I look at that as a really exciting opportunity. You sort of go through college, and now here we are in grad school, if you will, and we have a chance to learn a lot more, and we need to. I've said it after the game, and I'll say it again now. We were very fortunate to win that game. And the discipline that we did not show, offensively and defensively, in the first 3 periods, especially as I go back and watch it, can't happen. But to our guys' credit, there was a toughness in the group. They flipped the switch and played tremendous defense and executed down the stretch offensively. And that enabled us to have a strong 4th period. But this closing out a series, the evolution of learning what the playoffs bring, I've told our guys before, I've said it to you, they're going to learn more about themselves in the next, few weeks before the playoffs started than any coach can ever tell you. And I think that we're doing that. And we're going to need to tomorrow night.
But Brett, the flip side, though, is look at all the things that you didn't do well, and you still found a way to win a kind of grinded-out game that could serve you well going forward, because if you're able to keep advancing, there's going to be more games like that.
Well, right? That's true, and this is my point, so that I'm not Coach Curmudgeon. The fact is that 1986, no team in 3 decades plus 2 years won a game having that volume of turnovers. Well, that's a little bit risky. Had we not done a good job of offensive rebounding, the ledger wouldn't have been balanced. And, you don't know what I know on defensive breakdowns and mistakes, and you don't know what I know about offensive breakdowns and mistakes or shot selection. And then all of a sudden, we bunker in, and we show a side that I am just incredibly fond of and respect, that 4th period mentality. And so for 1 period, I love what I saw. And you can't make that up, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. There is a spirit in our group, there is a toughness in our group that you saw in the fourth period. And so we look at both sides of it. We were extremely fortunate. You can't repeat that. It's always good to get out of a ugly game with a win. And I do see it, like I just said it. There's way more positives in all of this, especially since we won, than anything. And I look forward to fixing some of the things that we saw in the first three periods.
Brett, how do you cut down? How do you coach cutting down the turnovers?
You can walk it up the floor, and you can have your two best players play really sort of slow and play conservative, and we're not doing it. We're not going to do that. And so it starts with me and our two best players, who will receive the most attention. We'll continue to help them. Dario and Irsan putting balls on the floor in the crowd. We'll continue to try to help them. Some of our players sidestepping or backstepping up a corridor instead of sidestepping down a corridor and stepping out of bounds. We'll try to help them. But it's the slippery slope we live. We want to play fast. We want to play free. We want to share the ball. And, by the way, it's the playoffs, and defensive mentalities ramp up, and at times you're going to be, in a predicament. But it's more that than, in my mind, than anything.
Brett, when you look at Joel's turnovers, to get 8 of them, how much do you think is just him dribbling a lot, and how much do you think could be attributed to him not being able to see?
I'm going to go to the goggles, and I'm going to go to the facts that he hasn't played basketball in a while. He hasn't played in the playoffs ever. And, he's just coming back. The difference of Joel offensively versus Joel Embiid defensively is night and day. He is unbelievable at the rim. In the fourth period, he was spectacular at the rim. And, that's energy, it's activity, it's just a committed, physical, aggressive player. Those qualities don't equal a poised offensive player. It's not his fault. And so playing basketball, regaining his balance, just his core balance and all those things, that will happen over time. And it's part of the complete belief when I look at our team versus other teams that I think that we can continue to improve. I really see tremendous improvement possibilities in general with our team, and certainly by Joel playing more basketball.
Brett, what are the keys to closing out a series?
I mean, there's always points of these types of games, and I've been in a lot of them, where, you hope you make it just too hard. Everybody's trying to break somebody's spirit, like it's always the same thing, and it happens on the other side of it. If I'm, and I know Spo, who's a great coach, would be in his locker room saying, all we got to do is win a game and come home. They're going to live in a really isolated, sort of zoomed-in world of, let's just win a game. We won a game the last time we were here, and just come home and figure it out. And, you can see it. And when you study, like, 3-1 series, and I have all weekend, you see different things that, you're mindful of. And I think that the defensive side of things is always number one for me. And then just the discipline of team basketball offensively is a really close second.
Coach, what did you study in those 3-1 series when you're looking at history? What are you looking at?
It's stuff that I would prefer just to keep, to ourselves. It's I look at it, I study it, I see it, and my intention is not to speak anything into existence. It's all about, trying to help the team win. Like, we want to get better. We're gonna go into tomorrow night and we're gonna get better. And I believe that if we sort of think like that, act like that, coach like that, then that attitude, I hope, will equal we're going to win.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Brett.
Thank you.